There we go. All right.
Oh, bro.
Here we are again. Today we're having a podcast with Paul Winebrenner, who is one of my best friends. One of the first real friends I met on my own at Washington. And Paul, people who don't know you, how would you describe yourself? Who are you?
Investment banking intro questions. All right, cool. Yeah, thank you first of all for having me on. I appreciate it. And something I know we've talked about since before we went down to Tahoe together and stuff. And it's so good to be able to finally sit down, do a talk, just be together for a little bit as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of the people watching who don't know me, I'm from Seattle originally. I am going to school, obviously, up here at UW. That's how I met Zach in Math 125, actually. The OG gang. Best place to meet people. And yeah, it's been so good to have stumbled into Zach in 125, and then after that at lunch. And then since then, just to see how, the community has grown and so many people, and obviously meeting you, Chris, as well. This past month has been amazing. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Real quick, can you go over how you guys met?
Yeah, this is a good story. So Math 125, Zach, did you take 124, which was?
No, I had AP credit. So this is my first math class at Washington.
Same. So we'd both taken AP credit, I guess, and we tested out of having to do derivatives and into integrals with the class. And we had this awesome German professor, Stefan Roda. Oh my God, he was amazing.
You remember his name? I didn't remember the name.
It was
so good. My God.
It was like, hello and welcome to Math 125. It was
oh my God. I forgot about him.
Every day, remember that? He'd
show
up in bike gear.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Anyway. So we had that class, and we happened to be in the same quiz section in the literal worst building on UW campus.
Yeah, it's off campus. You have to go. It's not a part of it. It's just way out of the way. Yeah.
And the architecture is just you walk into the building and you instantly feel depressed. It's just awful. But so
it's true.
Yeah, we met in Condon. That's the hall's name. And so I think it was the first Math 125 section, and they had us do some exercise and push our desks together, forcing awkward freshmen together in a math class. And so it was myself, Zach, obviously Nigel, one of our really good friends who I'm sure
Nigel the boy. Yeah.
And Mike, who I have not talked to in ages.
Yeah, dude. I haven't seen him in a while, but I'd run into him in physics building and stuff. Okay, yeah, but keep going.
And so we just happened to do the math together, and obviously I was sitting there and it'd been a while since I'd done math, so I was like, oh yeah, math, this is hard. And Zach's just over there doing every integral in 3 seconds, and I was okay.
Not true. Yeah.
Big brain. And so then we left the math class and we went back up to the main part of campus. And I happened to be meeting with another friend that I knew from orientation for lunch. And I spotted Zach because of his hair, obviously. And I was like, oh, do you want to come over, sit with us, have lunch? And then we went upstairs and we did math homework. And that just became a thing. We would always go into Odegaard and do math homework and just grind all our web assignments.
Yeah.
I met Zach.
Dude, back to that though, it was so nice. Literally, Chris, it's literally a commercial you see or something. I was all alone, didn't know anyone. I got my sandwich, looked around across the fucking little areas, this little cafe, all these tables inside. I sit down in a random spot. I don't see Paul or anything. I just sit down, starting to open up my sandwich, whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm eating it. I'm gonna do work after, whatever. And then Paul was like, oh, hey, I think you're in my math class. Do you want to come sit with us and eat? And it was just from that, dude, it was so nice. It really was. And then I was like, okay, I was a little nervous. I recognized Paul, but I had no idea who the other guy was, right? And we just kind of met, but I was I don't know anyone else really. So Yeah, it was, yeah, and it was good. And then he was saying that we did a routine thing with like Nigel as well. We just meet, go do homework in the library, and like we all got like super close through that.
Well, go do homework is definitely a euphemism because most of the time we play Fortnite in the library. Let's be
Really?
Yeah, we do random, yeah, or YouTube videos or whatever.
It's so funny.
Yeah, because Chris, the little things we have this like we have these little circle tables where each one has like a big uh like Apple like desktop like computer, like a big like monitor, and there's like four of them like all back to back like facing each other. So we'd all like get in a little circle, and everyone's just fucking around. And we'd occasionally do math homework and like swing over in our like little rolling chairs and like go look at like the other person's like web assign or like little like homework, and we're like, what the fuck? How do you do that? And then but like we were just hanging out, like or just we would just go there and literally like play games for like an hour or two. Like it was
Wow.
nice. Like on campus, like we just in between classes, we'd always just meet in the same spot. It was good, dude.
Best part was like you could walk in there pretty much any time of day and there would be somebody you would know.
At least one person, yeah, at least someone was always posted in our same little spot. It was good.
Oh, and then there was the old guy. Remember that? There was the super old guy who came in to eat lunch like every day at one of the computers. And he had like a long ponytail and stuff. And Nigel would like sneak up behind him and like look at what he was doing and then come and sit back down. Oh God, I missed the Odegaard squad, man. That was such a good time.
This was your freshman year.
True freshman year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So were you like a bit nervous when you were reaching out to Zach, or was it just like, oh, he's sitting by himself, let me just talk to him?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, like I wasn't nervous at all reaching out to Zach, and we can definitely go into this history too if it's something you want to go into. I know I've mentioned it before, like stuff that happened in high school and like from a social impact. But I will say, like by the time I'd gotten to freshman year of college, and that was second quarter.
It was second quarter. It was winter, yeah.
Yeah, I felt good about where I was in terms of like not feeling awkward like that socially. And it was something that, I mean, I'll be honest, I remember like I'm reliving the memory in my brain as I think about it. It was like I remember like facing the windows, turning around, like sitting down, and I saw Zach's hair, and Zach was facing the other way, and I was like, oh, I think I know that guy. I was like, I'm gonna invite him over to Ryan. And I just walked over to Zach. I was like, hey, like I think we just had math together.
Yeah, exactly.
You with us because I saw you were sitting alone. And I was like, that kind of sucks. So.
Yeah, I kind of turned. I was like, who's talking to me? I was like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, it was not something, to answer your question, it was not something that I was nervous about at all. Just
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Zach, did you feel lonely at that time when you were like sitting by yourself, or was it like, yeah, how was that?
No, I wasn't lonely. Like it's like honestly whatever. And like I even knew more people then than I did like first quarter, right? Like I didn't know anyone when I first went. So I already I had some friends, a few friends already. Like Matt or Henok or my roommates, whatever. But this was kind of normal. Like in between classes, you don't really leave campus. Like I was just grabbing some food in between. I had like more classes, so I was just down there like sitting, right? But obviously it's better to be with people that you know. So and like I'm always open to try to meet people. So when he asked me, like I was a little like, oh, like you feel that little like nervousness. Like I can still feel that, right? But I was totally like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, of course. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, but dude, I'm curious, Paul, because obviously I know some of the stuff from high school, but like, what kind of do you think it was more of the confidence? Because in high school though, you still were like asking like be around people. Like, was it kind
Can
of
you
that
go over
continued
that real quick? Can you
Yeah,
go over that?
yeah. So that people understand.
Yeah, fair.
So I'll start back. I mean, really, it starts in when I went to kindergarten, to be honest. So I went to a K through 8 private Catholic school. That I don't want to sound braggy, but I mean it's elite. It's like one of these elitist schools, right? The people in Seattle who send their kids there are like the ones who work in the skyscrapers downtown, like and they have housewives and stuff like that. That's like the level of kind of vibe we're talking about. And the housewives like argue with each other about whose Audi Q5 is better. Like you get the situation. So I went into that school. Both of my parents are professors at the University of Washington. So we have money, but not like that kind of money. And so it was something that I was always at a disadvantage in. I mean, even in the eyes of kids, it's weird how, young kids can see like a differential in how much wealth your family has and can start implementing, tactics to try to make you feel bad about that. Right. And it was something for me that like, I was conscious that was happening, but it was never something that made me feel bad per se. It was just something that like I always felt lesser than, but I felt good in myself, so I didn't get so bothered by it. But it definitely impacts your social development, right? When everybody looks at you and the first thing that they think is that's Paul, and Paul doesn't have as much money as I do, versus just looking at you and being like, oh, that's a dude, that's Paul. Okay. Those are two very different things, right? And that over time begins to like affect how you feel socially. And so when I went to high school, I essentially went to a continuation. It was, another Catholic elitist school. And again, there were more people in my grade. There were more people who didn't have money, but there was very clearly like, a certain class, and all the people that I knew from my middle school who went there, all had the money, and they were all in the same kind of social class. And, I started making friends, and I made friends with people who, came from family backgrounds like that. And, some of them were really my friends. And then, I got introduced to some of the other people in that group, and they were just, there's no real other way to put it. They were real assholes. I would sit down at the lunch table, they'd stand up and they'd walk away. And they'd be like, fuck you, Paul. We don't want to talk to you. And that went on for, the better part of 2 years with certain people. And, you could say like, why would you even be part of that group? Right. And it's definitely something that I asked myself a lot when I was going through that. I was like, is this what I want? And, for me, it always came down to yes. And the reason for that was at Seattle Prep, school where I went, there were really three main kind of social groups. There was a group of people who, were kind of on the bottom of the social tier, and they really felt that, and it led them to doing a lot of things. And I'm talking, substance abuse and, other types of behavior that I just was not interested in getting involved in. And they were always sad. They always felt bad. Then there was the middle group that was really, really anxious that they weren't in the top group, and they were always, backstabbing each other and trying to get up there. And then there was the top group, which was really secure, mainly because, they all knew each other for a long time, because it's all these families who have money. They're all interconnected. Everybody knows each other. And there was substance abuse and all kinds of things, but they were happy. And they were the only people in the whole school who, were legitimately happy most of the time. And it wasn't happy about good things. It was happy about, throwing a carrot at each other, or, putting an apple in the microwave for 10 minutes and then playing hot apple, throwing it around, right? But they were the ones in high school who were happy. And I was like, great. Like, I don't care what you do outside of school, but I'm a very non-depressed person, generally speaking. And I like to be around people who are happy, because that's where I operate. I feel happy. And so that was the group that I gravitated towards. And so over time, what ended up happening was, I was really persistent with that. I never let that standing up from the lunch table, or, saying, fuck you, or just, derisive looks. I never let that affect how I felt about me. And so in the end, as people mature, as kids grow from, 13 to 15, that's a huge maturity difference, right? And as they started to mature, they start to understand, like, okay, like, instead of being like, oh, that's Paul, Paul has less money, they started to be like, oh, that's Paul. Paul's a pretty chill dude. If I need help with homework, like, Paul will help me with the homework. And in the end, at graduation, 4 or 5 of the guys who had, been the most vehement in being like, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, I'm going to walk away from you, literally, turn their backs and walk away, came up to me and they were like, man, you really helped us get through high school. And, we hugged, they went, to Portland or whatever, to Portland. I don't know how they're doing now, but, I felt like I made a difference to them in their lives. And that was something that felt so good to know that, like, I could take something so negative and just by being positive, just for me, by me being positive, I could make such a difference for somebody else. And so what I took from that and what I translated into college was just be positive to the people around you. And I think that's what you saw, with Zach, with meeting Zach and meeting all of my other friends, is just finding people who are positive and spending time with them.
Yeah, dude, I'm curious. I know our high school was very different. Like, I'm curious, Chris, like after hearing how like Paul's like the social structure and how his high school sounded, like how would you compare that to Pally, like to our high school? Or kind of relating them, yeah.
It would be, I think our school was made up of a bunch of cliques. I don't know how else to describe it besides that. Like no one really ventured outside of their own groups, I think. But like as far as like financial wise, like having those like tiers, I don't think we really had that.
It's something that I've come to learn is like a lot less common than I thought it was, right? I mean, I went to Villa, that was the K-8 school, and then I went to Seattle Prep. when that's all you've seen for 12 years, you're like, oh, every school is divided by wealth. And then you meet people from public school, and it's totally different. You're like, oh, okay, I had no idea.
You said that you were treated terribly for 2 years. What did you do to stay positive? I imagine that's really difficult to do, like having what you thought were your friends to just turn away from you and walk away.
I'll be honest, there was other stuff too in those 2 years. And I feel like I need to explain this to say like what I did. So I was not good at basketball. I was maybe 100 pounds as a freshman and like maybe 6 feet. I was very skinny and long, but like not athletic in any way. Still I'm not. And my first 2 years, I got cut twice from the basketball team. Both times after, all of fall quarter and most of summer going to 4 a.m. practices. Because that's what I've been told. The coach was like, he looks for freshmen who go to 4 a.m. practices, who are really dedicated, stuff like that. So I did all that. I've never been afraid of like, if you tell me a goal, if you tell me I have to do something to get somewhere, even if it's hard work, I'm going to be like, great, I can do that. Even if it's hard, I will do that. And I mean, I made, really good friends. My buddy Colin is down at UC Irvine. He is fantastic. He's scoring like, 19 points a game. He's leading the team. I love Colin. I sent Colin a whole bunch of Snapchat messages whenever they make the tourney or when they're in their conference tourney. And I'm like, I'm pulling for you, dog. I'm watching you. Well, I send back the pictures from the bench and he's like, what's good? We appreciate it, bro. But, I got cut twice from the basketball team. And I was the only one to get cut. Out of everybody who tried out, I was the only one to get cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And the reason for that was the head coach. I'm not going to bash the guy on record, but the dude didn't like people who he thought were challenging him. He has that certain complex. And I've always been taught to look people in the eye when they're talking to you. And I didn't realize that when this guy was talking to you, when he was yelling at you on the baseline, you weren't supposed to look him in the eye. So I looked him dead in the eye, and he was not happy about that. And he made sure that I was not going to play basketball for him. Not for his varsity team, not for his JV team, and definitely not for the JVC team, even though that coach and I got along really well. And I think I probably would have made the team. And that hurt a lot. to go through that. At the same time, I was coming out of a middle school where I'm not going to say I was lazy, but grades were easy. It was, I could do not very much work and get very good grades. And so I didn't really understand when I got to prep that, there's a step up when you get to high school, right? And, I'd always been like, B is good enough. And it just wasn't anymore. And the first 2 years I was in English classes and I wasn't doing well in English. I couldn't write. I couldn't formulate thoughts in a clear and coherent manner. And the English teachers that I had were not the best at pointing that out in a productive way. And so I really rebelled against them. I really hated my sophomore year English teacher. I still dislike her quite strongly.
Is that the one teacher you're saying like you send back? You send
when I do well on an essay, I haven't done it in a long time.
Okay, I remember you telling me. Yeah.
I have been known to send that to her just to show that, here's what stood out to me. That woman told me that I would never be able to write well. And I don't care who you are, as a teacher and what you've seen and what your experience tells you, nothing in the world gives you the right to tell a 15-year-old kid that he's never going to be able to write well in his life, no matter how hard he tries.
Terrible.
And that woman damn near kept me out of college with the grade that she gave me in that class. And so I'm not a very vindictive person, but I do hold by the principle that if, I try to be nice to everybody from the very start and try to be, as understanding as I can with, whatever your situation is. But when you do something like that and then you don't apologize for it or make it, or even take the time, like I would go in and I would ask her, like, how do I write this better? And she would, teach me, and then she'd give me, a B- on the paper. And I was like, what do you want? I'm here. I'm trying to do the work. What do you want? And so, I hold to that standard of if, I am trying to give you as much leeway as possible, but if you're just out there to do something that you didn't have to do that hurts me, I don't care. I'm not going to pull any punches. So all of that, a very long way to get back to your question, Chris. I was saying, like, I was going through trouble with school. I was feeling bad about myself physically for not making the basketball team. And then going through all that stuff with, these other people. And the way that you don't let that get you down isn't really something I can say is like just broadly repeatable to everybody. I have an amazing family. My family is like incredibly supportive. And they were fantastic. They were, right there for me. And I kept a lot of it internal, but when I did feel the need to let it out, they were right there. And the second thing was taking that anger, and this is why I brought up basketball and English class, taking the anger that I felt towards that coach and the anger that I felt towards that teacher and the pain and the anger that I got from, being excluded like that socially. And instead of letting that consume you and drag you down and make you think that you aren't good enough, using it as motivation to be better. And that was really like that ability to harness something negative and turn it into something positive. I think that that's a mindset that you can really only gain by practice. But if you gain that, it's amazing to have. I see you thinking, Chris. What are you thinking?
I just think it's crazy that your English teacher told you that you can't write. Like I haven't had that experience where like a teacher told me like I suck at a subject, I've had a teacher like treat me wrong, but not tell me that I can't write for the rest of my life. And
Crazy.
And then like going through the social aspects of high school that you went through, and then being cut from basketball, which you love. Like I know you love basketball just from like, talking to you. It's a lot to deal with, and to be able to harness that what I guess negativity and use it to your advantage is really amazing.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
mean,
dude. No, completely. And like, even right then, like the whole time I've known you, you've always been one of the most positive people like I've known. And like it took like Paul, you didn't even tell me this for a while, right? And I like couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Like I just couldn't believe it, And like it really is impressive, dude. Like it really is. It really is. Like I'm serious about that. Like
I mean, you just mentioned it there. I mean, there is a side effect to it, right? I have this positive thing where I can turn negative energy into something positive and try to build out of it, right? But what you just mentioned, Zach, like it took me a long time to tell you. You remember how long it took me to want to feel good about like coming over and like being at your house and like sleeping over there and like
yeah, or
feeling,
feeling comfortable drinking or like yeah.
and it was entirely the result of like when you get into those situations,
Mm.
everything, I mean, literally everything in your world, except for maybe your family, is like hitting you at once.
Interesting.
You become very self-dependent, and it's very easy. There's really two paths out of it. Either you become extremely selfish and you only focus on yourself, right? And anything that comes up against you, you feel like you have to fight it and you alone. Or you take the approach of, I'm not going to let this diminish my ability to care for other people, but I'm going to be very, very careful about who I let close enough to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is something that, it causes trust issues. It makes it really difficult for people to trust each other. And this is something that, I was really proud of when we were in Tahoe, that I met Chris and Angel, I don't know, 3-4 months ago now in Chef Club. And like 3 months after that, we were down in Tahoe. And I was like, I love this.
But the
And
thing was, like, we barely even knew each other then. Like it was crazy to. Sorry, go ahead. But
no, you're good. And it was like, the thing I'm most proud of is I was immediately able to open up with you, because immediately able to talk to you on an emotional level, which I mean is rare just in dudes generally, but like being able to say like what I was feeling emotionally, and also to trust you. Like, I like listening to jazz. I played jazz for 15, 16 years. That was not something I really ever told anybody.
interesting.
It's not normal. People our age, like there's not a huge group of people our age who listen to jazz and they're like, I'm really into jazz. And so like it's something that I have struggling with totally, is feeling like I can really trust people. But I know that to grow as a person, to become better, that being able to trust and to figure out who to trust is really important. And so, I mean, that's a side effect and a struggle that I have, but something again that, when there's a struggle, you put in the work and you solve it, right? And you become better for it.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like define it. Like what's the scariest thing about like giving your trust out, or like trusting even too soon in your mind, or like define like even like how that felt coming over, like what, like, try to define it more because I want to try to understand it.
Yeah. I'm not going to use her name, but this is exactly the situation. I've essentially just gotten out of a relationship that was very, very hard for me. This girl liked me. She had one of her friends approach me, which I thought was really cute. And in getting to know her, I felt like I had really found the person I wanted to spend. And operating on that feeling, I didn't put any boundaries up. I wasn't the best boyfriend. There was stuff that I lied about that I was insecure in my past. And that is something that I deeply, deeply regret. And can't do anything about other than regret and learn from. But in coming clean and showing most of my personality, or all of my personality, I created the ability for this one person that I loved and what they thought, their judgments, to be devastatingly effective on what I thought about myself. And so this girl had, she would say things that from anybody else in the world, from, the frat guys at UW who I meet in classes, from sorority girls, from, whatever CS nerd, fine. I could take that because I don't love them. I don't feel that way in my heart, that like, I love you and I can feel open with you. But from her, who I really did feel that way about, when things that were hard for me, insecurities or the things I felt bad about were attacked, it completely destroyed my own view of my self-worth. To the point where I would literally throw up. I felt so bad about me that I would throw up. And that right there, I knew that was always a possibility of feeling so much for someone that their opinions would affect me so strongly. And that's why it's so hard for me to trust on that deep, deep level, or even on a little level, because I don't want to low. And that's why. And that's what makes it hard now. Coming out of that relationship, I have to rebuild that self-confidence.
Yeah.
I have to stop thinking like, what would she think about this?
Yeah, it's a whole nother process, and like it obviously takes time, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's hard.
And to
That's
grow
hard.
and not to let it, not to shrink back into the shell of, well, I just can't trust anybody.
Yeah, because you got to. That's the only way to make any connections, either friendship or relationships, like true connections, bro. You gotta be yourself, all of it. And then, like, if someone doesn't accept you or there's something you're not feeling, like, that's okay. There's fucking almost 8 billion of us. You know what I mean? Like, there are people out there who will want to be around you,
And that's something to say to, like, people who are younger or something. Like, I'm thinking about my sister right now.
Yeah.
For a lot of people in middle school and high school, it's hard to feel like you can be yourself.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to go through high school when you know that you want to be yourself and you've tried being yourself, but it doesn't feel like anybody's accepting you. Right? And I would say, like, to people going through that, or people who have experienced that, or maybe still experiencing it, know that you are loved in some part of the world. If it's not your parents, it's hopefully your dog or something. And know that, there are people in the world who think like you, who want to be with you and who love you. No matter who you are, no matter what it is you've done, there are people who love you. And in the end, it might be temporary that you're in a situation where everybody around you, it just feels like it's all crashing down. And trust me, I've been there, as I said.
Yeah.
Not only will you find the right people, sometimes the people who are hurting you will in the end be your friends too. And if you have that belief and if you have that motivation and you can stay strong in yourself, I mean, I'm fond of saying that literally anything is possible in the world if you try hard enough. And I would just, encourage you to believe that for yourself, to know that you're loved. Hell, I love you. I love you for just fighting through that. I know what it means to go through that.
Yeah.
I think all three of us love you for that.
Definitely, dude. Yeah, I have a little more like I could say on it, but Chris, I'm curious how you're feeling after everything we just said.
How I'm feeling?
Yeah, bro.
Go first.
Okay. For me, a lot of stuff I was thinking when you were saying that is like I feel like you always hear the messages to be yourself when you're in middle school or high school. And like I didn't really, you don't really take it as being that important, or like you don't really I didn't think about it in like the way I can view it now, right? And obviously everyone's like hiding something, and they don't feel like there's something they have to act a certain way or do something. And that's just what, you know, middle school, high school is, because it's like what you're saying. It's like you feel like these this all the people that matter, and like if you do one thing or someone doesn't like you, then like who knows what, like, it's just gonna turn into something else. But that's why it's so hard for so many people. And like anyone who does have a bad experience during that, it's like even you, Paul, like essentially getting through it, like having the confidence and just the hope that there's something more after even that. If you're literally just grinding through it, right? And obviously I'd want people to try to be themselves, right? To try to do that. Because I bet even at your school there's at least one person you'd hope that would be with you. But um if not, it's like you gotta realize it's temporary. There are people that love you, whether it's your family or anyone, right? So that's what I was thinking about, because you know you just don't see the I feel like you don't see the value in it until you're outside now looking back in, right?
Yeah, and it's totally true. I mean, you can tell eighth graders as much as you want, like, be yourself, and it's never going to resonate.
No.
But what you hope is that maybe over time, as those kids get from 12 to 16 or something, right, they can start to separate within themselves, like, me when I'm alone, or me when I'm around people that love me. This is my identity. And some
Hmm.
I have to be a little bit different in social situations, and that's not necessarily bad.
No.
Conformity is not awful, but recognizing that there can be different parts and trying to find a way to put those two together, as an adult. And that's really something I think that comes in college, when you have the maturity to be, and other people have the maturity to be able to see you as a holistic person, rather than just, I am what I am in social situations versus I am what I am in private. Being able to harmonize those two parts of yourself, it takes years, literally. And it takes a lot of struggle. But when you do that, oh my God, you feel amazing. You walk in and out of every class, you walk into anything you do, and you're like, I fucking got this. I'm gonna nail it. I feel good. And you know what? If it doesn't go well, doesn't fucking matter. Right? It's the most
Yes, dude.
thing in the world. You feel so good. Know that it's possible. That's what I would say. It is possible for
It
everyone.
is possible. I love it. I love it.
Anything is possible. Insert.
Definitely is tough, especially like when you're in middle school and high school, to be yourself. And I struggled with that, definitely. Like I felt like I had to, I didn't have to, but like I put up this like front where I was just like too cool for anything. Um, and I would walk around with my headphones in, just not saying hi to people, acting like I'm the cool kid that, I don't know, plays basketball. Um, it didn't help that like I was I was on the varsity team as a sophomore year. That was like, holy shit, like there's only two of us. Um, so that was like, okay, like I'm too cool to say hi to you or something.
Mm.
Yeah, that was tough. And like I feel like just recently, maybe like in these last couple of years, I've started to become a lot more comfortable with who I am. And um, like you were saying, like not separating, but like harmonizing your how you are privately and how you are, like, I don't know, just out there. It's something that's difficult to do. Uh, but like you said, once you do it, it does feel good.
Mm.
Can I ask you a question about that, Chris? I'm gonna flip the podcast real quick.
Yeah, bro. It's open. Yeah, bro. Ask Chris, bro.
I'm curious, like, that like too cool for anything attitude, like how did that help you in any way? Or, and how did it limit you? And how did you overcome that?
I think it definitely did help me. Doing that gave me like my own space, and that really gave me time to focus on what I wanted to focus on, and kind of like cut out all the noise and distractions. But it did hinder my social life. Like I didn't have that many friends. My senior year of high school, I struggled a lot socially. That was really tough. Yeah. Going into that real quick, but a lot of my friends had classes off, so we'd have a block schedule where it's like first period, third, fifth, and then the next day 2, 4, 6. So they'd have like sixth period off or whatever, right? So there were times where like I would go to where we hang out and no one was there. So I was like, shoot, like I have no friends right now. Like where the fuck do I go? So sometimes I just like walk around or go to like the study center or the library. Um, Sometimes hang out in my like teacher's class, and that was really difficult for me. Just to have nobody there to hang out with or like talk to, or and like I wasn't the most social person to begin with, so it's like shit, you know. So yeah, there were good stuff about being that, like trying to play it off cool, but yeah, that I think that definitely did hinder me. And as far as overcoming it, I think it was just going to SDSU. That was like a whole change, like you don't know anyone. Going into high school, you know a lot of people from your middle school going there, but like going into college, you're like you don't know anyone there. Well, for me at least. So I'm like, okay, if I want to meet people, I have to really extend myself out and get out of my comfort zone. So yeah, that it was kind of just saying, really just saying fuck it, and just really trying to reach out to people. It was the mindset of just like they're uncomfortable too. They're in a whole new situation as well. So if you're the one that can extend yourself, maybe they'll welcome that, and maybe some kind of connection can be made. So it's really just that mindset of just saying like, screw it, this is what I'm not the only one that feels this way. Yeah, I think that really helped, and yeah, I think I'm a lot more social now.
Yeah.
Quickly summarizes it. People respond really, really well to somebody like stepping up. It doesn't have to be like aggressive, like I'm gonna lead you, but to somebody taking initiative, you can like find that within yourself, to be the one who's like, hey, like let's make a group chat, or hey, like do you want to come just hang out like a little bit, like be surprised like how many people are just, they feel so bad because they don't feel like they have that. But when you provide that, you're like, oh my god, you're my best friend.
Yeah, dude. I totally agree. And just like the reaching out thing, I feel like it's so hard for a lot of people to reach out to people that like, they were friends or they kind of know them, but even just like not even talking about dating, taking like friendships to like the next level, like someone either from class or someone you used to know from high school, and now you're coming back to town, like to reconnect it when like I still believe most people will like be down to hang out if you want to. It's about, and that's what I realized going to college as well. Like Chris said, like that I had to be that person because I didn't know anyone going up. So like I'll hit you up, like I'll I'll text like, hey, what's up? Do you want to hang out? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Whatever. But I think it's so important. I think it's really important because it extends to anything else, like not just people but after college, like meeting other people. And Chris, like even you, like seeing the other day when we're at the park, and there was like the other trainer, Sean, who I met today actually after you left. Like me and Chris have been trying to help train kids a bit with like through our old high school coach, Coach Hayes, who's on the podcast before. They have a travel team, and we started helping, and we've been going to workouts and stuff. And right before that, like we were just hanging out at the park with our friend Griffin, and this guy was just training some kids, and I had to go take Griffin home, and we're about to leave. And I was like, "So Chris, you gonna leave too?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna actually," like he's like, "Oh, I kind of want to, ask him, what he's doing and stuff." I was like, "All right, yeah, go talk to him." And then Chris goes up and says, "Hey, you need a hand?" Like I don't know if you said you kind of like knew of, like maybe you said hi to him before, but nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, Chris just goes and says, "Hey, do you need a hand?" And that's it. And he goes in and starts. By the time I'm back up at the top, I see Chris totally in the thing, like passing for them, and like I don't know how long you even stayed there for, but just like stuff like that confidence from where you came from too, dude. That's incredible.
Thank you.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been working on that recently, man. It's like I kind of took it a step further.
Yeah.
So I've been going on bike rides recently. And like I see a bunch of people running and like biking, and I know they're struggling, you can just see it in their face and their attitude, body language, all that. So like whenever I see someone struggling, I like, just try to cheer them on or like just say hi to them. And it's super uncomfortable for me. Like I'm trying to like get used to it, but I know that if I like cheer them on, they might feel better, and they might be able to run better or run faster, whatever it is, or have a better day, And I kind of just said, fuck it. And was like, screw being embarrassed, screw looking like you're a crazy person.
Yeah. And screw being too cool to go fucking say something. Go try it, bro.
Right. It was just about like trying to have a positive impact on someone's life, no matter how small it is, So I've been doing that, and that's what really drove me to say what's up to Sean.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Like seriously, that's like, as Zach was saying about how we met, like that was from a movie. Like Chris, what you're doing is literally from a movie. It's like nobody does that. It's weird how like you see so much stuff online, so much stuff on LinkedIn, like all of these places where they're like, be positive, be encouraging, right? And you go out in the real world and it's like, you can probably count on your fingers how many times you as a guy have been given a compliment, and how many times somebody has like gone out of their way to be like, hey, come on, you got it. Like you can do it, right? Just a random person.
Even just saying hi, dude. Even just saying hello to someone.
Exactly.
No one talks to each other.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. I was thinking the same thing, Chris. After that, after I came back actually on Wednesday, I was leaving like Trader Joe's, and I was pulling out, and I'm driving, and this woman, she had an afro, and then she was dyed red, and she had a dyed red afro, and I'm driving out, and I stop, I'm like, hey, and she looks over, I'm like, I love your hair, and then she was so happy. She was like,
Yeah,
oh,
man.
thank you. Like it felt so good, and then I just felt good leaving, and it's something like that, like just she's trying out a red afro, dude. I was like, that's sick. Like I have red hair, like that's cool. So just like stuff like that. Like I wish, exactly what you're saying too, Paul. You see so much on LinkedIn, everyone having their cute little, oh, this is what I'm doing, I hope you're good, and like you don't see it in the real world that much, dude, with people that don't know each other. Like
it's tough.
But it's the same, it's all the same thing, like reaching out first. Like we can't just expect other people to start it. We can have all of us and anyone we can connect with begin starting that, dude. Like it has to start from something. And at least if it doesn't turn to a big thing, like you at least help that one person like right then and have that little like connection. And like there's no downside to it. Like what's the downside?
There literally isn't.
No.
And it's so beautiful too. It's like, it's like because they feel good, you feel good. Like I've had situations, definitely. Like I walked into my apartment the other couple nights ago, and the lady held the door for me to get in, and I went thanks. And then she was like, you should go first for like safety concerns. And I could tell like she felt a little awkward. I was wearing like a hoodie, like I didn't, she wasn't sure if I was like supposed to be in the building, stuff like that. And I like opened the door and like I held it open for her or whatever, right? And she was just like, oh, thank you, right? And it was this transition from like, oh, I'm scared, like, did I do the right thing by like opening the door, to all of a sudden just being like, oh, thank you. And it was like this total like absolution of like that scared feeling, that feeling of like, oh, like tension, to just totally fine. And I don't know how the rest of her day went, but like, it's just, it's when you like, are able to recognize that like not every single action you take is like the complete and utter consequential action ever taken in the world. And just doing the simple thing, just, like seeing that lady with the afro and being like, hey, I love your hair. Like, it's just doing stuff like that. It makes you feel so good too. It's like, why would you not? It's like, you help somebody else feel better, you feel better. Maybe they'll go home and make somebody else feel. It's like a huge
Right.
Dude. Oh, fuck, dude. It's like energy cannot be destroyed, right? Conservation of energy. I totally believe in that. It cannot get destroyed, bro. Straight physics. So if you pass stuff on, like, who knows, bro? It leads into the next action. It leads into that next moment, that next present they're gonna be in 5 seconds, right? And who knows, that could change their whole fucking day, or like whoever they talk to next. Like that's it. It really can. Like, and it doesn't hurt to do it. Like, people are just so focused on their own stuff, I feel like.
Yeah.
Dude,
And like they feel like, oh, no one wants to say hi. Like, I just doing my stuff. And if you just like, people like saying it. Almost everyone I say hi to or like do stuff to, they usually like, everyone's like, oh yeah, hi, or something. Even short, like you're saying, the thank you thing. Yeah, I completely agree.
I need a Chris and Curry shirt that says straight physics on it, because that's the best merch opportunity. I want one of those.
Straight physics. Bro, my dad's helping make some t-shirts, so I could actually maybe we'll roll out some t-shirts, bro.
Oh, Big Rick with some nice designs. Ooh.
Yeah, bro, got the art guy. Got the art guy do his designs.
Really lit.
Yeah, t-shirts would be cool. Who knows? We gotta get some chess club t-shirts. We'll start oh yeah, man.
Honestly, that's been like the hardest part of this pandemic, though, is like we're all stuck inside, right? And we don't see as many people who we don't know, if that makes sense. Like think about like when you go out right now, right? Like you either go over to like a friend's house, or you're going to like a park with friends, but like everybody's distant, or you're going to like the grocery store, but like everybody like kind of stays away.
Everyone's got masks on. Everyone's very focused on their own thing. No one's saying hi. No one, I'll tell you that.
And it's so hard, like, just like you miss the little things, right? Like when you would say like, hey, how's it going to people? Or like on a run, like when you would like wave to other runners or something, right? Like nobody's out running. And it's weird. Like I did a whole run this morning. I didn't see a single other runner the whole time. And it was just like, it's sad. You don't have that experience, right? You're not like, hey, what's good? You're like, we're both like pounding away, right? It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the mask thing. It's kind of it's like another barrier in between people, that you have to break through. It's definitely not as easy to interact with someone that you don't know when they have a mask on, and you have a mask on. You can't really see their expressions. They can't see your expressions, right? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but it is what it is. Just got to keep trying though, trying to reach out, mask or no mask,
I completely agree though. With the mask though, like, how much expression can you get when you have all of this like covered though? That's why it's so hard to reach out. It's just your eyes. Yeah, it's just the eyes, dude. So much everything just like reading the expression for me. Even with the mask, like I already have trouble hearing sometimes. So someone with a mask on, I'm like, what are you saying? Like, and then I can't see what they're like. It's just so hard. You can't read their expression, or like, it makes it so tough, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a better way to go. Like, obviously, I get we need masks when we're in like crowded places, but it's hard, man. Especially for people that don't have a nice. I can't imagine not having a good friend group during this. or having people that you really care about. Like, can you imagine that? Like being on your own and kind of just, I don't know, how are you getting through this? Like, that would be tough.
I've got to say, like, with this whole breakup situation, like having had you guys, having had my parents close, be able to, talk with, and, go home to, and just be somewhere different than this apartment. It's something that I am so grateful for, that I don't even know how to put into words. How much I appreciate that, especially coming from that high school experience where, yes, those people became my friends, but I don't think I would trust any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to like trust you guys on that level, to be able to say what I feel emotionally and not feel like I'm going to be judged like, you're a pussy, nothing like that.
Yeah.
I literally don't have words to say thank you enough for that. And it's
Dude, I feel the same way too. Like I feel so thankful for this little community we're building and like people I have around me. Like it's exactly the same thing. It's like I feel so happy. Like I can't imagine not having it, you know?
It's something that I know I've talked about before, like on one level, like my dream or something I've thought about would be to have like, you, Zach, and Chris, and Angel, and Matt, obviously, and Tom as well. And just have like this little, like be living near each other, like have this little like neighborhood kind of vibe where it's just very positive people living together. And I know like, our lives are going to lead us to different cities and different places and all kinds of things, but it's so nice to think about that, like you could have like this little, like, I don't know, block or something, right? Where you're like, I
Yeah.
know.
A little cul-de-sac,
Oh,
a
that'd be
little cul-de-sac, a little hoop in the middle.
I don't know about a cul-de-sac.
Why?
I kind of want a block, man.
A
So that like,
block?
because that not a block, but like more of like an open area, so that
Yeah.
we can expand on that,
Hmm.
so that other people can see how we
Other
interact
people
and how we
going. Yeah,
live,
it
and
won't
then
just be us isolate. You're right. I like that too.
it's like, oh, like we can be like that, and then we impact people just by existing, just by doing what we're doing, not existing, but you know what I mean.
And that's the beautiful thing too, is like, even though like in my mind, right, it's like you and me and Zach and Tom, right? Like what's really going to happen is we're going to get to our neighborhoods and we're going to make that around us, and it's going to be bigger than just us. It's going to be beautiful because, there'll be Zach's neighborhood and Chris's neighborhood and my neighborhood and Tom's, and everywhere there's like a little seed of positivity going around, right? And it'll be like that. That's what's so great about people.
Dude, what I'm thinking too, which is so crazy, is that there's so many neighbors or apartment buildings, whatever scenario you think it is, they just don't talk to each other at all. And like I do the same thing, dude. I don't like right now, I don't talk to one person in my apartment building. I knew before, but they moved out during COVID. And before I was obviously in with Matt and Henno, they lived above me and Anthony. But right now there's no one I know. Like I don't talk to even one person. Maybe I'll do it when I go back. They literally have a thing on my floor, like on their door. It's like knock if you want to have a cup of tea.
Aw, that's
And
Just
I've
do it.
never done it. Yeah. I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
dude, I'll go with you. That's fun.
Yeah, dude. Like maybe I'll do it. Like I
Aw.
don't know what partly was. I wasn't sure if maybe like because I assumed that maybe it'd be a girl or something. And because like, I have Sierra, like I don't really meet girls. I don't really talk to girls that much because I'm so like I don't want to like even start anything. But like I feel like I'm not gonna do anything. I just like just to even meet someone, dude, and like just to start building that because I want to have that vision, like you're saying, Chris, like eventually live in a place where all my neighbors like I'm able to go over and be like have their back too, and like because that's a whole nother community. You know what I mean? Like it's like why not, right? It's like why not, dude?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to do with this bike trail that I go on all the time. I want to really change the energy of this bike trail by like trying to uplift people, and like, yeah, people would start saying hi to each other, cheer each other on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'm trying to do.
What are you doing on the bike trail? To saying hi to people that you see?
just everyone I pass by, I say hi. If they don't respond, like, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see someone running, I'll like cheer them on. And I'll be like, "You got it," because like they can hear better, and they're a little slower, so it's like there's more time for them to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of just trying to spread that positivity, and hopefully they have a better day, or just like even a better moment, man. And then like maybe they might pass it on to someone else, like that. Just that one small thing leads to can have the potential. It has the potential to be something so big,
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it's like, a lot of people get caught up in feeling like they're so small in the in comparison to the universe, right? And a lot of people, I mean, I know, like, some of my friends, again, I won't mention by name, but some of my friends who get, really deeply depressed, feeling so insignificant, right? Feeling like they have no ability to make any change.
I've been there.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah.
And when you get into those moments, is being able to realize, like, being able to call up like times in your life when you've really made a difference for someone. And for me, I always go back to that high school graduation, because that was like a really big deal, right? That was like over a period of time, and then it was like a hug and like a feeling of like we really did that together. But like what Chris is saying too, like those little moments are so impactful in people's lives. And the chain, like you start following the chain, like, maybe you say hi to some, manager who's having a really bad day and he's got an interview later. And then instead of going into that interview like, oh, I hate this person, or like, I don't want to do this, they go into that interview like, I'm going to be positive. And then, somebody who really deserves a job gets a job, and they kill it for the company, right? And that affects so many other people. It's like you start watching these chains, it's like, where does it end? It's so beautiful to think about how much impact you have just by saying hello, or holding a door, or carrying somebody's groceries upstairs or something like that. Such a good feeling.
Mm.
Plus, it feels good for you.
Yeah. It's not a zero-sum game. It's definitely not.
Yep.
It's just funny to say going into finance, which totally treats everything as a zero-sum game. It's not.
I'm just writing that last part down. I like it.
What are you writing?
It's so beautiful to think of how much impact you can create. And I can't remember the last part. Like, almost out of like just a small gesture. That's me so small. And like, I don't know, but it's mainly that's the idea. Out of something so small.
Yeah.
Switching up the topic. How was Tahoe for you, Paul?
Amazing. Seriously amazing. It felt like nothing I've ever felt before. And I know that sounds really cliche and stuff, but I promise to explain. Like, I have never felt, first of all, so quickly connected, like with you and Angel. That's never happened before for me with other people. And that just like, my heart felt so full. I was like, yes. Like when, like we were in the car, like Angel and Tom and I were driving up along the west edge of Tahoe, and I'm like, hey, like, can I take over music and like play some jazz and see if you guys like it? And Angel was totally into it, and so was Tom. And it was like, I've never felt so accepted, so like positively, even though like I could tell like Tom was not really into the jazz. Angel was, this is like, it's not exactly what I would listen to, but it's fine, right? And I was like, I am vibing. Like I feel like we're having a nice time. And then Tom's like, I'm gonna run some of my music. And I was like, this is amazing. Like I don't really like Tom's music as much as I like, like some other stuff. But I was like, it's just good to hear what other people have to say.
Yeah.
And it was just, I have never felt so good. And I've never felt so much friendship than I did playing pool with you guys and poker and, you know, going out on like the walks and stuff. It's just, yes. I don't know how else to say it. Just yes. It felt so good. Red
Yeah,
Hat? I love Red Hat.
Chris, how about you? How's Tahoe for you?
It was really good. Tahoe was really good. To be honest, I think I enjoyed the time where we were inside together the most instead of like going out.
Yeah.
Like I barely remember when we went out. I remember those times where we were just like in the kitchen cooking, or just hanging out together, spending those late nights like that. That's what I remember, and
Mm-hmm.
everything else is kind of a blur to me, to be honest. And it really takes time for me to really think about like, what did we do during the day, kind of thing. Because those moments at like when we came back home and just spent time together, in that area, it was really special. Like you were saying, like the way we connected, it's it was really unusual. Yeah. And going back to what you were saying, like about how you opened up to us and how you were thanking us, I want to thank you too for opening up. It makes everyone feel a lot more comfortable about
Mm-hmm.
being there and being themselves. And um, it's not, I understand it's not easy to open up and, you know, really talk about things that you don't usually talk about. You helped create this environment where it was where everyone just, you know, loved each other, cared for each other. um, and it was a safe environment to share. um, so yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you guys. I mean, the moment that stands out to me was, you know, we're down in that game room playing pool, right? And, you know, that specific song comes on, and there's that lyric in that song that describes exactly the way that I felt about this girl, right? I mean, literally so perfectly encapsulates how I felt. And it's just, it's overwhelming. I mean, I'm literally not tearing up, but like I can feel the emotion in my voice right now. And it's like, you know, every single one of you guys came over and was there for me. There was nobody who stood on the other side of the room who was like, I don't really want to deal with that. Everybody was like, we're here. Let's talk about it. Let's, you know, feel, explain, you know, say what you're feeling. And it's like, I've never felt that with anybody before, any group of friends before. And just, it makes me so able to trust. And I believe that a lot of like life is about momentum and confidence, right? Like when you feel like you have momentum and you feel like you have confidence, things go a lot more easily.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, as I've looked back at that now, what, like a week or two out of it, but still, that's like the starting point for my momentum in being able to trust people, is like knowing that I could trust you, Chris, and Angel, and you, Zach, obviously, and Tom, especially, and Matt, to be there for me and not to, you know, put me down for feeling that stuff. And that really has given me a lot of confidence that I can actually trust people, which is something I didn't really have before. And so, yeah, I mean, that's just, it's so valuable. Again, I don't know how to say thank you enough.
Dude, I love it. I love it all so much. I absolutely love it. Like I was tearing up a bit right now as you were just explaining that. It really is beautiful, dude. Like it's being able to be in a place where, you know, everyone is there to support you. Like we want everyone to open up. Like it's there's so much stuff that we have to hide, dude. Like when there's or what someone else says about you, or like it's yeah, it's just really not worth it, dude. And like I'm just really happy with how it went. Like I loved it. I remember the moments where there'd be like three different conversations going on, all in the same open area, and we're all like broken off in these little like conversations. And some people are going so serious talking about whatever they're doing. Some people are crying almost, and like we're all just there, like just coexisting. Everyone's in their own. We got a little music in the background playing. Like I just loved it. It's just I needed that. I felt so nice. So glad we made it work, even with COVID and everything. Getting everyone together, I loved it. I'm glad you guys are better connected now. Like
Totally.
that was the whole point of all of chess club. Like that was the fucking I wanted to, I was like, shit, I have all these people I like. Let's I would love for them to get to know each other. And like then they can have like it won't just be me trying to hold everyone together, you know. Uh so I'm really happy about that. And I just love that both of you guys love it too. Like
Going back to you saying you needed that, what do you mean by that?
just that, school stuff's stressful, like a lot of stuff been going on. I've been having like, me and Sierra have had our own like set of like issues and stuff. Well, like obviously we're in a pretty good spot now, but it's like there's still just like stuff you work through, and we had some stuff going on, and like I just needed some time away with my friends, go to a different place, and like just I didn't do any work that whole time. I didn't look at shit. Like I did nothing. And I even almost said a few times, like, Matt, like, should we do some ink sports stuff? And Matt's like, fuck that. We're in talk. Matt was like, hell no, bro. We'll do it when we get back. And like, it's fine. Like, I'm back to doing it. I like it, but it was just nice, like having that time and like it is important to have that time just to hang out and be there. Yeah.
Go to this quote that you shared recently. I'm just gonna read it right now. Wealth among the Dagara is determined not by how many things you have, but by how many people you have around you. That quote, that's had a big impact on me recently. I think you shared that like a month ago with me.
No, not you. I shared it at Tahoe with you.
I think it was before that.
I started reading the night before I went to Tahoe.
Really?
So you're lying.
Well, it feels like forever because like I've been thinking about this nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's had a big impact on me, and like how I see like what I value,
Yeah.
because money it's always been so important to me, and that's part of the, like, how it is with trading, and I was so driven by how much money I can make. Like recently it's like shit, like I don't think that really matters as much as making these meaningful connections with people, and um,
Talk more.
yeah, like go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, talk more about that. Analyze a little bit. Like, why was that money so important, and like, what's changed there?
What's changed? I don't know. I just had to do a bunch of thinking about like what I think is important. Um, I think part of the reason is my grandparents aren't doing too good in Japan right now. Um, so I think that's had an impact on me. Um, and I just my mindset changed from like I think I'll be able to make good money later on, as long as I like pursue my passion and keep working at it. Um, and it's been a combination of that quote and this Oscar Wilde quote. It was like, um, the rarest thing to do is live. Most people just exist, or something like that. Yeah, that's had a really big impact on me. So I was like, shit, like I need to just do what I think is best for me, go after my dreams, go after my goals, um, and do what I think is best for me and like the people around me. Um, and I think the money will come just later on, you know.
Yeah.
I just don't value money as much recently. It's and I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better. Yeah.
There
But like
is.
just tying that back to Tahoe and stuff. Like uh, I'm so thankful that we did that and made those connections. You know.
I'm
So
very
thank you.
an annual retreat to Tahoe. Once a year in Tahoe for like spring
Oh,
break.
fuck that. I want to go see new places.
Okay, well, sure, but
We'll go
like,
back to Tahoe eventually, but we can, it doesn't matter where we're at. Like, we'll go see some new cool places,
we'll
bro.
go to Hawaii, bro. Hawaii would be fun.
Wherever. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care where it is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Chris, I relate to that a lot. Like I mean, going into finance and stuff, right? I mean, especially investment banking, like how driven everything is by like how much money am I going to make and how much money can I like move from here to there and where's the money going, right? And it's really amazing to talk to people within the industry, right? And that's like something I do as I'm, learning more about it. You find people who are really interested in like what the money does and why the money's being moved, the actually important thing. But you find a lot more people who are just there because there is money, right? And it's a really interesting dichotomy within that industry to see like such different sets of people often working together on the same thing to get it done, but for totally different reasons. It really like reinforces in me like I have to be conscious, like obviously like money is something that is important, right? And in the end, I mean, in our society, you can't really survive if you don't make money. But being conscious of like how you make your money and whether you're doing it in a way that you feel good about, right? And to relate back to the beginning of our discussion too, like, does your money make somebody's the way that you make your money, does that make somebody's life better? Are you doing that thing like holding a door, except you're doing it in your job, right? And for me, the thing that I've found that I've really fallen in love with investment banking is, yes, we're moving money and yes, we take a cut of it, right? But we're connecting people to that money so that they can bring something really amazing to the world. And I love that. I love feeling like even if I didn't invent the product, I was part of, making it happen. And I don't know if that like resonates at all. I don't know about trading. It's not my specialty at all. But, it's something that I'm so happy about that exists. I don't know what you think of that.
Oh, I think that's amazing. Like I think you have a healthy perspective on it, you know. I think there are a lot of people that go into finance just looking for the money and they're like, "Oh, there's a whole bunch of money in this industry. Let me try to make the most money I can." And like I think there are people that throw away their morals while they pursue money. Um, so I think your perspective on that is good. Like making sure that you have some kind of impact on the world that you want. Um, yeah, I think that's amazing.
Being able to know too, like sense out, like there are definitely, certain banks and other stuff that like have a very strong culture of like it's all about the money, right? But also, really getting to know people who are really interested in what they're doing too. That's what's so cool, right? It's like you get on a call with these people or you listen to a podcast or something. And now, I don't know, for me, I get all excited. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. Let's talk about that, right? It's so cool to feel like you share that with someone else, you know? An interest.
Dude, after listening to all of this, like the main thing I've been thinking about is like, yes, money is important, right? But we really only need a certain level. Like I feel like I've been there too, where you think like you need to just keep making more money. Like I want to be able to make so much. I want to be able to get a boat. I want to do this. I want to be able to travel, like all this stuff. But like it really, I feel like Chris, you were going at too, the way you're just thinking about it, like it's not it shouldn't it's not the main thing that should drive us in what we do like on our everyday basis, dude. Like people are taking a job that maybe makes, even $20,000 more, like $100,000, whatever amount it is. Like eventually, weigh the things like how you will feel on a day-to-day basis, how you'll be able to impact people, or like how much you actually enjoy what you're doing. Um, like that's what actually matters. Like money doesn't stay with us. If you're only going for money, you realize, oh, that never ends. You're going to continuously want more stuff. You're going to continuously want to get more money and realize, why am I not happy? What's this? Like why? Oh, I have 7 Lamborghinis. Why am I still sad? Or like it doesn't end, right? And then these people, I feel like it's just, but it's still so prominent. It's still so prominent. You see that like so many. I see stuff all the time where people like value like money over any relationship, or like money over this, or get in the bag, like all, which is in a sense makes sense. A lot of people, you have to like get to a certain place and make a certain level of money before you get distracted and stuff. But it's still realizing what the actual importance is. Like once you do make that money, with a certain level, where you're able to live and like support yourself, and if you need to support people, like that's definitely super important. But you can't lose you can't lose what really matters, like these connections that we make, and like really feeling a true like love between, like it's just, there's nothing like, nothing will make you feel content the same way, or learning to like love yourself and stuff like
Well, and also
like
being, um,
no, that's basically it. Like I was just saying, like that's just what I was thinking. You guys are talking about that, and like obviously, Chris, I was thinking about you and like debating. We talked about what you want to do after college, like what makes sense, right? And thinking about all
Mhm.
that, and you're debating, and it's tough. Even like grad school things, and like just like feeling, I can like feel that through the way you're thinking too, and like I don't know, just holding that, like it like just, I don't know, go with what feels right, and like I
Right.
like your mindset saying like money, like it will come, like you're like you're amazing, like you can make money, or at least get
Thank
by
you.
at a certain level to be fine, like whatever you want to try to do. But it's about, the main thing is, if you find something that really you're passionate about, I definitely think you should go after it, give it your fucking all, and then like, hey, if you're really broke and like almost like, then you can like, if it's getting really bad, then maybe you change, right? But like you have to go for it. You still have to try it, or else you're gonna have like regret.
Right. Right.
the most beautiful thing too, when you really pursue that dream, right? And you're confident in what you want to do, you make it possible to earn a lot of money doing that. It does come. It's not like, and I'm not saying for everybody, and I'm not saying all the time, but when you are that dedicated to a goal, it's like, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like nothing is impossible if you try hard. You have to assess whether or not it's worth trying, right? Sometimes things cost more than the benefit you receive from them, right? I mean, basic finance. But it other than like nuclear fission or something, physically impossible, you can do anything you put your mind to. And a lot of the stuff that we think is physically impossible really isn't. If you have enough willpower to make it happen, you can. And I mean, I know that's true. I had enough willpower to not be a dick to these guys who were walking away from me in high school. I just wanted to be nice to them. I wasn't like consciously trying to make them be nice to me. But you put in that effort and you completely change the way that they react to you, right? And it's like, you can do anything and it will come. You just have to believe hard enough. You have to believe in yourself hard enough. And I think that's really where most people get stuck. It's hard to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling with it right now. I know.
Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. How are you feeling, Paul?
Every day for the last 2 months has been hard on some. The best days that I've had have been in Tahoe, to be perfectly honest with you. And today was hard, but the last couple days, it hasn't been this overwhelming sadness anymore. It's been very poignant nostalgia or really wanting something, but not the deepest level of just like it's hopeless, right? And I should say, like, for people who don't really understand what I'm talking about, like, I'm talking about the breakup. This has been hard for me. I really, really felt like this girl was the person I wanted, and I think still want to make my life with. And that's why it's hard to get over that. And it's something that, you know, that relationship and the way that it's ended and, you know, events regarding, you know, my career and stuff have gone that have shattered a lot of, you know, the self-confidence that I built up coming out of high school and through the start of college. And oh my God, it hurts. It really hurts. And it's a struggle to feel good about myself sometimes. And it's ridiculous. I'm doing well in school. I'm doing well on my career path. I mean, look at my friends who are on the call with me right now. I mean, I've got amazing, amazing friends and a great family. And even in all of that, somehow, you know, emotionally, you can still feel bad, right? And I recognize it's like I have everything, quote unquote, right? And somehow I still feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really a lesson in, you know, finding your own strength and in listening to the people around you, taking comfort in what they say, but also, you know, you being the one who has the strength to get up at 6 a.m. and go on a run. Listen to a podcast, come back, do 100 push-ups, and then go to class. Meditate, and then go to class. You know, and keeping yourself accountable, holding that in your head and being strong with it. And even though it doesn't feel strong, I mean, I feel horribly weak right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so stupid as it sounds, incompetent and insecure. And I mean, just horribly sad sometimes. But, you know, finding some strength somewhere inside, pulling it out and saying, come on, we're going to do it. You know, get your math homework done. It's just, I know that right now it hurts. I know it's going to hurt for a long time. I don't know how this is going to end in terms of, you know, where I end up feeling about this girl and so on and so forth.
Mm.
But I do know that I have to try. And when I try at things, you know, somehow it will work out. Maybe it won't succeed the way I think it will, but I know that somehow it'll work.
Yep.
Come out better for it. Dak's the one that, you know, keeps me grounded on that. You really are. Every time I, I lose hope, I'll call Zach or I'll call my dad. It's you two guys. Every time you get me, you talk me off that ledge, just wanting to feel like I can't do it anymore.
I'm glad I could be here for you, yeah, it's important to have that support system around you, especially when you're going through tough times. Going back to what you were saying though, I heard you say that like you so and so have everything, right? You've got good family, good friends, good support system, good grades, like career wise you look like you're doing fine, like more than fine. And you said that how you feel is ridiculous. I don't think it's ridiculous though. I think how you feel is legitimate. And yeah, you shouldn't. I feel like that's kind of you're kind of talking down on yourself. Like you're like you're not. You're like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. And yeah, I think if I'm just going to give you some advice, but like I don't think you should do that. I think you should accept how you feel, acknowledge it, and try to move on from there instead of saying like, oh, this isn't how I should feel when like everything seems to be going right, I think it's okay that like this one thing in your life is having a toll on you. And I think it's totally fine. And with time and yeah, I guess with time, you'll figure things out. But I don't think it's ridiculous.
No, that's good shit calling me out on that. Because it's like, I didn't even notice that I was having that negative reaction to my own thoughts. Right? And you calling me out on it totally, like, I as you were saying it, I was like, oh, yeah. No, I shouldn't be, labeling my own feelings as ridiculous just because somebody, somewhere else might, right? What I feel is what I feel. And being able to own that, and being able to recognize that, like, that is how I feel right now. And
Exactly.
Things, yes. Thank you, Chris.
Of course.
Dude,
Of course.
I completely agree, and I'm glad you called that out, Chris. Because like everyone struggles with that. Like I struggle with that same thing. Like it's hard to see that negative, to call it those negative self-talks you have, that was a struggle for me, especially like the expectation that like, why am I not happy? I am like, I'm doing well in almost everything. I think like, why am I feeling like I literally like almost don't want to live today? Like, why am I like it's hard to explain, right? You have this expectation, like for me at least, like, oh, I'm in college right now, like I have to have fun, like enjoying myself. Why do I feel so bad? Like, why do I feel so bad? You just can't, like, it's so hard. But like Chris was saying, just like getting that acceptance of like, this is okay, this is where I'm at. I am feeling like this, there's the only, like, you're the one creating that expectation yourself that you shouldn't feel this way. That, yeah, you are, like, there's no one else doing it. No one's judging how you feel. No one knows how you fucking feel. It's only you. So learning to accept that, because we're just here, right? You're just present. That's it. Like, this is where you're at. Nothing else you can control. All right, this is it. What can I do from here? And like connecting back to what you're saying, it's all about the try, dude. Everything. Everything's about that. Not giving up, and just, if this doesn't work, all right, I'll try something else. I'll try this next thing. I'm gonna try to meditate for 30 days straight. I'm gonna try to get up early. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try eating better. I'm gonna try whatever. And then for me, I noticed every time I felt bad, it helped me improve my own habits and the way I like view myself, the way I try to treat myself, the way I value my time. All these things, like it gave me a better perspective when I was in those low points, for sure. And like now I try to have a bit more positive opinion on it and be more accepting when I do feel bad, and then it doesn't last as long for me now. Because I've been dealing that for like over 2 years now. And I think that's all you can do. And I feel like meditating helps a lot with seeing those negative thoughts. At least for me, like the way you talk about yourself, but also others. Because there was days where I noticed I was only saying negative things, like, oh, I'm behind in all my classes. I don't know what I'm doing. This went wrong. I don't like this. Why am I here? I don't even like what I'm doing. What, like all these things. And I literally have goals where I'm like, I'm not going to say one negative thing today, no matter what's going on in my head, no matter what it is. I'm going to be able to recognize that thought and kind of like look at it for what it is, but not say anything negative today. And I like, it's hard to do, but it was a good goal for me. And then like slowly it helped get better, and I could address my thoughts better. I could see them for what they were. And that was a big thing that helped me. And I felt like that helped like through meditating, because then you're able to see your thoughts better. You're able to be like, oh, that's a negative train of thought. I can see that. Do I want to keep going on that? No. Let me breathe for a second. Let me just get back to like away from that negative darkness that's gonna pull me into fucking all the negativity in life. Like, yeah, so I think that's really important that you pointed that out, Chris. Like it really is. I think what?
I was just saying, you're totally right. Like I didn't recognize it as I said it. Like it just slipped out.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets deep, and then it's like obviously whatever's happening in your head is much darker than whatever you're gonna say too. So like it starts there, it starts somewhere, right? And like I'm glad, like obviously you have the space to talk about it. It's important because people don't even, they don't want to say anything that's going on, and they can't ever begin to get better, because it is possible. It is, like you're saying, anything is possible. That's why I called you out the other day when you said you can't do something. I was like, what? You can't? Like, that's just the negative thoughts, dude. And it just begins there with recognizing it. That's the first step in anything. You're recognizing it, even recognizing you aren't feeling good, right? Understanding it's a process and will take time, and it's little steps each day that help get you to a better place. And that's just trying that. That's all you can do.
Well, and that's like, the whole point of the self-esteem set of meditations that we've been listening to with Andy and his absolutely amazing voice. Like, just, like he's always like, recognize like thoughts and feelings, right? And just identify them. And I love how, at the end of the thing, he's like, as you go about your day, as you feel your mind wander off from whatever task it's on, be able to label like that's a feeling, and I'm going to return to the task, right? Just kind of ground yourself that way. I really like that. It sounds simple, and a lot of the meditations we listen to, I feel like they're saying the same thing. They're like breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then they're like observe any sounds, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
But I do like that there is, a focus on being able to identify what's going on in your brain, and an explicit one, right? I think a lot of us, we go through life, it's what Chris said. There's a lot of people who go through life, existing, and then there are the people who go through life living, right? And really being able to take your thoughts and analyze them and say like, and let them go, right? Is so crucial to being able to live rather than just exist. And the people that I've known that are the happiest, my grandpa and my great aunt come to mind. I mean, their ability to take negativity and turn it into positivity, recognize, what's gone wrong or said something is wrong, but turning it into something good is just, it's like a role model to live by, right? And something so beautiful, something I'm really happy to have said, to be able to say that, I met both of those people. They were in my family, but I'm so happy for that. So I totally agree. He's got like a little smile going.
I'm sure. Are you thinking, Chris? Is it just I can keep going. I just want to see like how are you feeling?
Keep going.
It just feels good, dude. Like it feels good that you see that. And like I was saying earlier when you brought it up, like anyone, if people have listened this far, like we've been doing the meditation, trying to do them together at 8:30 every morning on Zoom and just sharing the Headspace app, which I really liked. I think it's important to try to hold yourself accountable to do it, but like you're saying, Paul, like just some parts I feel like, you're like, oh, why am I doing this? Or what's the point? Whatever. But for me, after going through it, like it really did help me a lot. And I think there's so much power in it, just sticking with it and making it more of a routine, whether it's doing yoga or meditation or something, like it really helps like give you more clarity throughout the day. I feel like, and gives you that reminder. And it's like not just like, oh, you reach a point where you're done with it. It's a practice. It's a consistent thing, which like I didn't realize the longest time. I was like, oh, I'll get to a point, I'll feel good. And then every time I felt good, I stopped, and then I would eventually feel bad later. And like I was like the same thing with like anything, right? If it's like smoking, drinking, or whatever bad habits, other stuff, it's like I'd pick up my habits when I felt bad, and then I'd feel good, and then I'd go right back to my bad habits. And after I'm at a point now where it's like, why do I keep doing this? It's like the Albert Einstein quote, the insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I was like, what? Why do I keep doing this fucking bullshit? When like I do these good habits and I feel good, dude. I just feel fucking good. So I think sharing that is just important. And like yeah. Yeah. Chris, how you feeling over there?
I was stuck on what you guys were saying earlier about like how Paul was saying that he can't do something. It's gonna go in, the conversation is going in a different direction, but
yeah, bro.
I was just thinking about that, and how you were also saying that there's nothing impossible if you really put your mind to it.
Yep.
And then you talked about how like maybe nuclear fission isn't possible or something like that, right? So I was thinking about that for a little bit, and if that's impossible, that's kind of like saying that we have an understanding of the world, and to a point where we can label that as impossible. But I was also thinking, like, do we actually have an understanding of how this world works?
No, sir.
Right. That's what I believe. I believe that we, like, the knowledge we have right now is very limited compared to, let's say, if there is like a capacity to knowledge. So I'm under the belief that even nuclear fission, I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm under the belief that that is possible.
Yeah, we just don't know how to do it yet.
I hope I didn't get it wrong, because I think I may
Bro,
have said
it's fine. It doesn't matter. It could be anything. Time
the
travel,
idea is
speed of light, going speed of light.
yeah, the idea is that like
No,
we don't get how this world works, yet we have these like absolute beliefs, as in like we don't know, we think some things are impossible, or like that some things are absolute. um I'm under the belief that that's just not the case, and that if we really put our minds to something, that we can probably do anything. Yeah.
thing too is like, what I was saying was impossible for me. This was this morning. Was, you know, getting out of my mind the idea that I can't call her. I can't do that. And I felt like I wasn't making any progress with that. And you guys totally pointed out, like, it is totally hypocrisy, right? I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, anything is possible if you try hard.
Yeah. No, but that's
I can't do that.
I was actually talking about a different thing. It was you saying that you said it was basically along the lines of that you can't live for yourself. You were saying that you live like doing stuff for other people, or like it was along those lines. And that's where I was really like, Paul, like let's say that sentence again.
No, you were totally right this morning. You were like, but is that really true? I was like, well, no. It's just like, you fall into a habit, right? You fall into a situation and then it feels very true. When you say it, it feels right. You're like, I can't do that. But when, as you said, when you step back and you say, well, but is that really true? Or you write it down, because you've been, it forces you to be like, well, maybe not exactly, right?
Yeah. And that's huge. That's huge. You got this, bro.
I do.
Yeah. You might feel bad for a bit. Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it really was like a change of perspective, right? Like, being able to feel like I'm going to work on myself to get to the place where I feel like I could do that again. And I know I'm using some generalities here, so people who are watching might not understand, but I don't really want to go more specific than that. Has made it much easier for me to be able to say I can do this instead of feeling like I can't. Even though I know that I could do it the other way, even though I know that, like, I could go on saying, like, I'm not going to call her. I can't do that, right? I'm not going to do it. Even though I could go on saying that, and I'm sure that I would, be able to fix myself eventually that way, having the mindset change of I'm going to do something positive for me, just today, like, I felt so much better thinking that. Like, the moments of sadness, I could counter them. I was like, Paul, what are you going to do? Right? You have a Cascadia meeting in 15 minutes. You're going to go out, you're going to ace this meeting, then you're going to sit down, you're going to finish your math homework, go for a walk, go see the cherry blossoms, come back, do chess club. Right? And just like, instead of just being like, oh, it's all too much, I can't handle it,
Mm-hmm.
The quote that I shared a couple nights ago from Invictus. I think it's William Ernest Henley is the poet. Invictus, amazing movie with Nelson Mandela Morgan Freeman playing Nelson Mandela. It's all about rugby, but somehow Nelson Mandela shows up. It's high quality. Probably my favorite movie of all time, actually. And the quote, or the end of the poem, is, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. And it's so powerful to remind yourself that you have control. Don't let yourself be controlled by your circumstance or what's going on in the world or what other people say. But remember that you are the one that's in control. And that has pulled me through a lot of times of bringing it back to what can I do? I'm in control. What can I do about it? Right? So I guess to go back to probably, I think the very first question you asked, Chris, one of the first ones, was like, what gets you through, right? Like, how did you get through that period in high school? It's knowing that I'm in control of me. I have that power. I just have to be strong and choose to exercise it.
Mhm.
Sorry, I went off on a little tangent.
No, you don't need to be sorry.
Are you sorry, bro?
Everything is welcome here. So
Yeah, bro.
there's no need to feel sorry.
Whatever happened was exactly what was supposed to happen. That's it. Like,
That quote, that bit of that poem is getting framed and put in my house.
yeah. Dude, there was something, I forget what actually triggered it when you were earlier. I don't know if it's from feeling bad or like something talk about goals or something, but I went over and looked, tried to find a quote from the Matthew McConaughey from the green light stuff that like kind of just connected a bit that I just want to see what you thought about. I don't know if I've showed it to you, but it's don't create imaginary constraints. Reach beyond your grasp. Have immortal finish lines. And like, I don't know, I love that. I just love that, dude. Like that mindset. Like something earlier you were talking about. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it made me just immediately think of that. Like I want to find that quote again. Like I want to share that. And like I just want to see how you feel about that as well, because that I love it. I loved it. Because there's so many like I think it's limiting thoughts, like saying the can't as well, but like just having like if you set these limits on yourself, like how are you ever gonna do even half the things you dream of doing? Like no one else, like you gotta. I just love that. Like reach beyond your grasp, have immortal finish lines, bro.
You know I'm a sucker for Matt McConaughey. I love Matt.
Really?
Yeah, favorite actor, I think.
I didn't know that.
Probably up there with Morgan Freeman.
Have you listened to that book yet? Green Lights, bro. I have to get you that one too. Shit, Paul would love that.
I got a bunch of Audible credits, so I can send that one over to you too.
Hey, yeah, I'll pay you back for it.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Late birthday, bro. Paul. It was just Paul's birthday. I'm about to send
shit.
him All About Love.
Chris sent me a book. Chris sent me.
Oh yeah, I sent him Can't Hurt Me.
Can't.
Oh, can't hurt me. David Goggins, the GOAT.
I started listening to that in the shower, and like when he's talking about his dad coming home and beating his mom, I'm like, oh my God, like it puts in perspective to you, right? Like how much shit happens in the world,
Dude, so much shit.
and impacts so many people. It's crazy to me.
Dude, we are all blessed. 1000%.
We're very blessed.
Man, his situation was fucked up. Like, like we think we have it. Like I don't know. Like I know we have our issues, and you know,
everyone has their issues. Yeah.
Right. But like, what he went through, man. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like comparing my issues or like your issues with anyone else's, but like that one's a little different, you know.
All of it too. Like Paul, you're so early. Like I'm excited for you to listen to that more and like obviously talk to us about it. I loved it. I listened to it over summer. It was so good. Oh man, dude. All right. I just wanna I kind of want to end it with like one last just question, dude. Like what each of you guys, like what is the mindset going forward after we all graduate in the next few months? What's the mindset that you guys are coming at life with?
Chris, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I know. For me, it's to live and not to exist. I don't want to like I feel like I've done that in basketball. I feel like I've just been a body on the court, you know. So I kind of know what it's like to just exist. I don't want to do that, you know. So that, and then my big thing right now is just to impact people in a positive manner. Um, it's not so much as like impact as many people as I can. Um, it's about like it's more about like having, I guess, like a meaningful positive impact on as many people as I can. I know it's a little hard to grasp, but I kind of think about it like as like the area of like a square or like a rectangle. It's like how much positive impact you can have on one person, and then like going this way is like how many people, you know? So just making that area as big as possible.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's what well, not even like just graduating. That's what I've been working on recently. Just making sure that every day like I can have a positive impact on the people that I interact with. Um, and like sometimes I won't, and that's fine. But like as long as I try my best to do that, I think I think I'll be happy. Um, yeah, I think I'll be happy, and you know, it might not be the most financially stable thing to do right now, but I think the money will come later, and the benefits of just doing what I'm doing right now and like trying to positively impact people, I think that will pay out. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, just to live, not exist, and have a positive impact on the world.
I love it. Sounds great. So good. Paul, where you at?
It's a similar kind of place. I'm happy um, in that, I guess what I would say is my perspective has always been that the ultimate goal is similar to what Chris was saying, to bring that happiness both for myself and for the people around me to as many people as you can reach, right? But being aware that it's not like Chris said about, how many people or, something countable, but knowing that each and every person that you interact with, that you try to leave those conversations yourself better and they leave better too. Right? And that's not always going to happen. You're going to run into people who just they do not want to leave the conversation better than they found. But knowing that you bring your best self forward, that you're making as much of an impact as you can, right? That's what I think really is the goal. And I'm really happy that, I might be wrong, I don't know, but I'm really happy that I feel in my career that I can do that as well. It's not something that's just limited to, personal life or outside of the office or something. I'm really happy that, I feel like I am genuinely interested in what I'm doing in the office. And that's reflected in that I can have a positive impact there too. And I think that's something that, we discount a lot. A lot of people get really stuck, as we've said tonight, on, the money of something or on, where it leaves them or whether it's prestigious or blah, 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 blah. But the real value is when you find a job that you like doing and it matters in some way to you, right? It matters to what your goal is. And when you find that, it's like, whoa, this is great. I can make my impact through my work too. And that's not true for everybody. I don't mean to say like, you have to find that. There are lots of people who, work is a way to make the money to allow them to do something in their church or something. My grandparents, that was very true. My grandpa was a really good furniture salesman. He liked doing that, and he did leave, people positively with that. But his real impact was in his church. he built multiple churches from the ground up, and led really good communities there. And I think just being able to find that activity or that job or that mindset even that allows you to bring as much positivity as you can bring to the world, that's the goal. So that's what I'm aiming for after graduation. Zach, you?
I love that too, Paul. And I know that about your grandpa, dude. That sounds great. That's great. For me, man, graduating in June, like, I'm excited. I'm excited not to have this time where it's like just homework or like labs and stuff. I feel like it takes up a lot of time and stress for me. I'm excited to just keep exploring things that I'm interested in, things that I like, things like trying to help coach basketball, help making these connections and the podcast. Like I like doing this stuff. I also want to try to just try to help make people just help them out a little bit in their day. Like these positive interactions, I feel like are so key. I'm like just having the present awareness in each moment to be able to see the impact that I'm able to create for people. To be able to be consciously aware of that. 'Cause there's so many moments throughout the day where there are these opportunities that could help someone or help anyone, and just being able to do that, and also being able to work on myself still. Like it's constant improvement. Like I'm not like at this place where I know everything, or I'm at the best feeling I can be, and that I'm always trying to learn from people. I'm always trying to hear new mindsets, new views on how to live. That's what I'm big on. I want to connect more with my family. I want to put myself out there more. I feel like I don't really speak up as much in besides just to my mom and dad. Kind of like more extended family and like my sister, other stuff. Even past like Sierra, like I talk to her family, but just more like why not? Like it's just I feel like there's so many connections I can strengthen and like get to even whole new levels where you can get to know more people on a personal level where like there's nothing to hide. Like you're just being honest, open, and that's beneficial for everyone involved. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I want to travel too. I want to see cool places, and I want to at some point I want to go live in a monastery for like a month or some shit. I don't know when, but I think that'd be beautiful. Um, just all those things, dude. I feel excited, feel happy. I feel like I know that no matter what life throws at me, no matter how down I am, that I can come back from it. I liked I actually, Chris, I've been talking about, but I met with our old coach for our JV team. Her name's Aris. I met with him yesterday, and we had this. Our
Can you tell
conversation
me more
all over
about that?
We'll talk. We'll talk. I won't go all the way into it, but he was told me his like his life story basically, and like how he was saying he described life as like it's it's like a sine graph, like it's constant up and downs, right? A sine graph. He said you eventually get to the point where you're the graph itself. You are the graph behind it. There's nothing like it doesn't affect like you're everything. You are that. And like yes, it goes up and down, but you're able to take a whole another like step out of it. Like it's such a place of peaceful, like just peace, and being able to know that okay, this is a new opportunity, this is a learning experience. I'm meant to be here. This is where I'm at. That's it. All right. What do I gotta do now? All right. That was just one thing that kind of stuck with me, but there's a whole like I still have to process some of that conversation.
I
But
think that's who we need to get on next, I think.
oh, I'll hit them up for sure. But that's where I'm at. I'm always excited for you guys. Chess club, fucking love chess club. Love it. I just love it, dude. Yeah, that's where I'm at, man.
Beautiful.
Yeah, dude.
Beautiful.
And with that, dude, I think we're pretty good. That was a beautiful talk. And I think we can, like, unless, do you guys have any last thoughts you're feeling?
Just thank you.
Yeah, as well, man. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. I'm grateful to be here to talk with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Good shit. All right.
All
I'm
right.
gonna throw my peace sign, baby.
I will too.
All right.
Beautiful.
Peace out. See ya.